You guys realize that I'm not doing anything. I'm literally just downstairs going to sleep, right? Literally. What was I doing when you walked in my room?
Laying on your bed.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean you couldn't been doing something else. I don't know. There's something.
You've done something, Austin. They're gonna find out what it is.
I don't care. They can go through all my stuff and they can go and take me away and put me up naked somewhere. I don't care. They can go and put me up naked somewhere. I haven't done anything wrong.
Okay, well then tell us what it is. If you haven't done anything wrong, what is it? What's the smell? Are you burning sagebrush?
As far as I'm aware, there's nothing that stinks.
What are you burning?
Are you burning something?
No.
You were burning something.
What? Well, we can smell it. You can smell it.
We're not stupid, Austin.
I'm not saying you guys are. I'm just asking you to let me go to bed without all of this nonsense of you guys having to try and...
You're going to have to answer their questions squarely. No beating around the bush, none of the crap. Okay? They're going to come over. You're going to either be prepared or they'll probably haul you off.
For
I don't
what?
want to see you hauled off.
What are they going to haul me off for?
I don't want to.
For what?
I don't know. But we'll find out, won't we? What will happen? I don't know. They may say, hey, you know what? Whatever. It's going to be reported.
Why would you guys care? No, here's the big question. Here's the big question. Is this like, what is this? Is this the police like home or something like that? Why do they?
It's going to be if it has to be.
This
If
is
you
our...
don't
Why?
help around here, you won't even offer to help around here.
You have no idea how much I do. You have no idea how much I do because you're not in the same lifeline as me. You have no much idea. You can't walk in my shoes. No, exactly. You're not in my lifeline.
Because I help people. I help this family. I eat with this family. I cook with this family. I pay bills with this family. I love with this family. I share with this family. You live your life down there doing your thing, and that's not good enough.
I'm trying to live a better life.
That is not good enough.
I'm trying to live a better life.
You're going to be a part of this family. You're going to be responsible like this family, or you're going to go do your thing.
Which is what? Just literally be kicked out on the... Which is what? Just be kicked out on the street? Which is what? Just be kicked out on the street? Is that it? Is that it? Just go and just be kicked out on the street?
To make a decision.
Oh, really?
What's the
Yes.
smell, Austin? What is that smell?
You know what? The problem is that I don't even care. The both of you are so ridiculous.
Okay, thank you. I'm not going to listen to your nonsense.
It's not
I
nonsense.
gave you a chance the other day.
It's not nonsense.
I gave you
It has
a
a
chance
point.
to be a team player. You thought I can just bull crap them and keep doing my thing.
Oh, really? Is that what I
I
thought?
don't need to help anybody. I don't need to do anything. I'll just do my thing. You know what?
Is that
It's
what?
a team playing game.
As far as I'm aware, I haven't hurt anybody.
You've hurt yourself. It's been about 2 damn years that you've been a lazy shit in this house. And it's time you get a life.
He's just videotaping you.
I'm live streaming this right now.
It's time you get a life. You got it? I don't care. I hope it's live streamed.
It is live streamed.
Good. Now, what are you burning in the house? Is it drugs? What is it?
You know what the funny thing about it is that the actual rights of an individual to either disclose or not disclose information is a finicky thing, and it has a flaw in and of itself.
You called the cops?
They'll be here in a minute.
Okay. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. You can visit with the cops about this. You can explain to
It's
them
fine.
what
I
it
can
is.
talk to them about it. But here's the thing. So what, like,
Austin, we want you to be a part of the family. We want you to eat with
I
us.
want to be a
Share with
successful
us.
individual within my life.
Then
I'm
go
not doing
be that.
And
Go
so,
be it.
so what does that mean? Just go and just be a door-to-door, and get a knapsack and try and go door-to-door? What does that mean in your profile here?
If you know everything, Austin, you can do whatever you want to do. That's what you say. You live on a different reality than us.
You're saying that right
You're saying
now.
I don't need you. To us,
Obviously, I say as much down to earth things as I say anything else, okay? I can put my shoes on and brush my teeth and comb my hair, man.
you can't comb your hair. That's obvious.
How funny.
Take your hat off and live stream what you look like.
I like what I look like. Just because you don't like what I look like, and maybe it conflicts with your image of what somebody is supposed to,
Austin,
know.
you look like a vagabond.
So
A hobo.
I'm in my pajamas. I was literally going to sleep, and I just took some melatonin.
Okay. Well, I've tried to talk reason with you. I came down and I asked you
No,
politely.
you don't talk
I
reason.
asked you politely what it was that smells like it's going to burn our house down. You won't tell me. I asked you politely.
No,
Is it
I have a
something
fire alarm
illegal?
in my
You
room.
won't tell
I have a
me.
fire alarm in my room. I was laying there going to sleep. Someone came and broke into my
Is your
room.
fire
Someone
alarm-
came and broke into my room. I'm laying there on my bed.
We don't break into your room
Yeah,
because
you guys didn't. Yeah, you guys did. You just came and opened up the door.
when is that breaking in?
As far as I'm aware, it's
You ever
not.
go
As far as
inside
I'm,
them?
as far
You
as
go in
I'm
my
aware,
room?
as far as I'm aware,
You
it's
were in
not.
my room
As
the
far
other
as
day.
I'm aware, it's not polite.
Did you go in my room? the
As
other day
far as
without
I'm
asking?
aware, it's
You
not
did.
polite.
You did. You came up there.
Here's
My room.
the funny thing about disclosing information, though, is that when it's actually a demand.
Austin, don't make a fool of yourself. Just
Well, if this is me making a fool of myself, then my whole life is me making a fool of myself. So I'm just being me.
here's the cops.
The funny thing about disclosing information is that if there's any reason to disclose it when it's actually reasonable, or if there's any reason not to disclose it when it's reasonable,
Austin.
there's as much reason to actually not disclose it when you have no reason not to disclose it. And that's a fact. And I just
Well,
proved a point
the
with that one
reason
right there.
is the
That's a
cops
pure
are
reason right there.
And I wanted to avoid that.
I don't care. What I just
Don't want
spoke,
the house to burn down.
it's not going to burn down. Is there any fire in the house? Is any fire alarm going off? No, there isn't. The fire alarm is you guys running around on fire right now, trying to burn me down.
What do you want to take with you in case they haul you off?
Okay, well, I'm just live streaming this right now to everybody. If I get taken off for what?
We don't know. You won't tell us.
Whatever's smelling in the house.
So
You
I don't even care. I made enough points on my video already with actually saying about the disclosure of information to negate really anything that happens after tonight. And I don't even care. I have enough memories in my life that literally I just live beyond this anyway, so I don't even care. I'm not going to jail for this. This is just literally.
Well, I hope not, Austin.
Jolly old St. Nicholas, tell us of your tales. Tell us if.
If you don't go to jail, it maybe should be a mental institute.
Well, that's cool. I'll take this there and live stream all of that too. That would be a great show, wouldn't it? Because the people in those places, you want to know what they enjoy? They enjoy torturing everybody.
Those people
No, they don't. They're just.
communicate, Austin.
Oh, really? They do? Well, I'll tell you what. They're the ones being held captive, the people that work there. And that's the truth of that as well. I'm trying to get out of this house and have a better life for myself, but I literally can't make a living doing anything. Okay?
We would love. I provide many opportunities for you.
No,
Austin.
your opportunities do not accentuate my talents. Your opportunities do not accentuate my talents in any way, shape, or form.
Austin, I ask if you'll go down and pick up a piece of equipment for me. You told me no.
Why is it that I cannot provide a service within this life that actually allows me to perform in a manner and capability which I am comfortable with by negotiating the swarm of problems that literally is just represented in the facet of trying to accumulate responsibility under somebody's belt? And why can't I actually
Sometimes
find...
we have to do things we don't want to do.
You know what? And that always presents itself in a way which is manageable in whatever it is that you're doing. So I'm going to navigate that road and I'm going to raft down that river in a way in which isn't totally just some sideshow of actually me trying to truly experience what it means to be alive and to find success and to find happiness. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to do anything.
Then tell me what's going on.
Nothing. You're being ridiculous and I'm trying to go to sleep. I'm literally...
What are you burning in the house that's stinking our house?
Obviously, I've just woken up in a nightmare. If I was laying in my bed and this just happened, I'm
What are you burning?
not burning anything.
What were you smoking?
I'm not smoking
What
anything.
was smoking?
I'm not smoking
Okay,
anything.
what were you inhaling?
I wasn't inhaling anything. I'm going to bed.
What?
I'm hardly inhaling any air.
What is
I'm
making the smell?
hardly inhaling
in
any
our
air.
house?
Walking around wearing
Maybe
masks
that
all the
wasn't
time.
Cops out there on the. I thought somebody stopped out on the road. What's making the smell in our house?
I don't know. You burn enough stuff in the house all the time.
I didn't cook tonight. Sorry.
Or use your little, whatever it is, aromatizer. Can I go into my bed without having to worry about somebody coming in and cuffing me in the middle of the night?
It's
Not yet.
apparently too late for that. We asked you and asked you, and you would not. You said no. I won't say. You still won't tell us.
No, I'm trying to make a point about actually the privacy of
I
individuals.
think it's marijuana. I'm not familiar with it, but that would be my guess.
Well, they'll know as soon as they get here.
I think it would be, you know what, the whole thing would actually just be even funnier if I do get taken away, because it will just make a fool out of everybody involved.
I don't see how that does.
Well, you know what?
You'll be calling us to probably come bail you out.
I won't be calling anybody. I don't care. But obviously, I
Don't care.
I mean, I care enough to experience a heightened sense of existence every day, and so I actually take care of everything to try and enlighten myself on a day-to-day basis.
It's
You say that I don't
time
care
it's
about or...
time you live on the same reality that the rest of us live in.
Well, you know what? Why can't I actually attain something in this world, given these notions of these dog bones that have been strung up on my back like that old picturesque thing of a dog chasing a bone that he can never catch, in regards to these notions of me actually achieving something through this looking glass of watching other people achieve, but literally it's this faded vision of never actually being able to
I hope
attain
you have
any
a
of
lot
that.
Friends watching this. Because they're going to say, where has that kid gone? Here they are.
Hi.
How are you?
Hello,
Hi,
officers.
thanks,
Take care.
Sir, right hand.
All right.
Touch it. Touch it.
So what's going on?
I don't know, can you
Just
smell that
family
smell in the
issues.
house?
Okay.
What is that? Is that marijuana?
I don't smell marijuana, but
I mean, I smell something, but I don't know what it is. To be honest with you,
Okay.
I can't. There's a lot of things that can smell like marijuana. To be honest with you.
Okay. No, we're not
So
experts.
We're kind of afraid the house was going to maybe.
No, they're honestly,
or something.
we have a
So
touchy
we're asking
history.
He won't tell us anything. He won't
No.
tell us what it is stinking. I don't know there's something.
Just calm down for a second, man. Just please calm down for a second, okay?
Okay, hold on. Can you just go ahead and explain what it is?
I'm just exercising my right of the Fifth Amendment, I guess,
What do you mean?
in terms of my religious and spiritual practices on the premises. But I'm not doing anything illegal,
Okay, so,
so I'm not going to disclose exactly what it was that I'm doing, but I'm not doing anything illegal. Other than that, we have a little bit of temperament and qualm in the family, and it's been kind of like heightened recently.
okay,
I pay rent.
okay,
I haven't caused any harm to the property or the premises. I haven't caused any harm to any individuals on the property or the premises. I would just honestly like to be able to go to sleep tonight without having to worry about something happening to me, you know?
all right. Whatever it is, okay?
Yeah.
Obviously something's been burning in here, okay? It does smell like something's been burnt. I can tell that much. Okay, whatever it is, whether it's for religious purposes or not, okay? If your parents who own the home, okay, even though you pay rent, okay, say that they don't want you to do so, doesn't mean you have to stop. However, what that does mean is that if they eventually decide that they don't want you here because you won't stop doing that, they can go that route. So it's kind of up to you which
I
how you
understand.
want this to go. Because if
For
you
sure.
decide to continue on and not listen, right, then they could very well just say, okay, well, pack your stuff, you gotta go, right?
Life is
And
a tough
there's-
business, man. I understand that. I get
Okay,
that.
so I'm
Right.
not sitting here trying to say you've done anything wrong at this point.
Yeah,
okay?
I'm listening to you.
But what I am saying is understand that your uncooperativeness, okay, with them, and let's be honest here, okay? I'm not saying again that you've done anything wrong, but being uncooperative, all right, without just saying, hey, this is what it was, this is all it is.
Yeah.
Okay? So instead of just saying that, you want to be uncooperative and not explain what it is and pull out the whole Fifth Amendment thing and whatever. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have a little bit of like, I go into an extreme self-defense mode just given the history.
Of what?
Being taken off to a mental facility before and being, having the cops called on me.
So you have
I have a history with
Because of
my
the
with
police?
my parents and with the police. And so I just go into an extreme state of kind of like self-defense in regards to the whole thing because I do have a history with feeling kind of like my rights have been violated a little bit, you know? I mean, I understand, like, it doesn't even have to be my parents. Like, even if it was just people that I was just living with, I understand that I need to be cooperative with them and I need to be somebody who is communicating and somebody that's obviously finding a middle ground in regards to whatever it is that I'm doing. Whatever, you know, I understand all of that. It's just,
I've been here for a few minutes, and I can tell you right now, it doesn't seem like you do that. Just to be honest with you, okay? I come in here, and I mean, to be honest, you're just pretty much hostile as soon as I walk in. Not like in a extreme way, but you know what I mean?
well,
Like,
I mean,
you're
I'm on edge because it's just like,
Are
you
you
know.
concerned because the police are here?
well, I'm on edge because it's like,
Are you nervous because of?
no, I'm not nervous. I'm not afraid of anything. It's just obviously, I kind of feel like, you know, if there is like a dog baring its teeth at you, then,
So who's okay? But what are you?
or if there's a
Who's the dog?
snake or something like that. Who's the dog or the
this
snake right
situation?
now in this situation? I would say whoever it is that kind of like called the police. I'm not doing anything.
That's me.
But if they say, hey, we smell something burning here, what is it? Right? We just want to make sure it's nothing illegal
Well,
inside their
I
own
would just
home, right?
like to be able to
Seems
have
a pretty
like
fair
a.
question. It's. I mean, do you have any kids or anything like that?
No, I don't have.
Okay. So imagine if you did though, right? You're in your house, your kids are doing stuff that you're not quite sure what they're doing. You can smell something burning inside the house. and you're curious to know what it is, and you ask your kids, hey, what is that? And they tell you the same response that you told your parents, or what you told me. I mean, how are you gonna feel?
I would
Think you'd
just,
be upset?
well, for starters, I would probably want to make sure that everything was under control in regards to the safety of the environment.
Hence the question of what's burning, right?
Well, if nothing was if nothing was burning, then I would respect somebody's privacy as
Something
much.
has been burning though.
But
You
I
know
would
as well as I do
I would
something's been
honestly
burning.
let things go so quick.
Are you telling me nothing's been burning?
I would tell you that nothing's been burning.
You didn't stand there and tell me that nothing's been burning.
Well, I mean, I
Just think about it for a second while I talk to your dad.
no problem.
Austin, right?
What's up?
What's going on?
Not much.
So, what I smell smells like incense or something, right? I get it. You're burning something in your room. I don't know why you were standoffish with mom and dad about it. I can totally get why you're standoffish with us about it. Okay. Not super worried about it. Here's kind of the situation. Okay.
What's up?
First off, just so you know, your Fifth Amendment, that is your right to remain silent. Okay. So that means that you just don't want to talk to us. Just gonna let you know that. Freedom of religion.
That means that I can.
property, your Fourth Amendment and Third Amendments. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but the funny thing is then I can not talk, but then I can talk whenever I want, right?
It kind of works like that. You have to uninvoke your rights if you wanna
The
speak.
irony. Anyways, go ahead.
But we have to be talking about something criminal, which we're not. So your Fifth Amendment, until we're talking about something criminal, doesn't really matter.
I know, but it should still apply for anything non-criminal as well, right?
Well, it's your right to not incriminate yourself. So if it's something not criminal, then your Fifth Amendment, how are you going to incriminate yourself if you're not talking about something criminal?
I know, but I think that things don't have to be incriminating if I don't want to talk about them.
Right, and you
Right.
totally have the right to not even talk to us. Okay. That being said,
But I have no
you
problem
are-
talking with officers of the law. I respect everybody, man. I honestly I respect everybody, and I expect everybody's work and everything like that.
all good. I appreciate it.
For sure.
And honestly, I appreciate people who do know what their rights are and want to use them. Now, that being said, right now you're living in mom and dad's house. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
It's not my
Ultimately,
ideal
what this comes
situation. It's
down
not my
to-
ideal situation,
I
man.
get it, man. But ultimately, you know, it really comes down to a respecting between you guys and mom and dad. It's not really even anything that.
Yeah.
6'4", 22. Not even really anything that we have any play or control over, right?
Yeah.
They just want to know what's going on in your room, and that's it. Now I know that you've had bad history with us. I could hear you telling the other officer about it, and you know I'm not here trying to make that worse for you.
Yeah, you know,
All
but
it
I've had
is
more.
is-
I've had more good history, and that's the terrible thing about it, right? Is that something like this happens, and then all of a sudden, it's like 5 minutes of hell or whatever, and then everybody forgets about the 20+ years of good experiences. I've definitely had way more good experiences with cops than bad ones, and I know that you guys have to obviously you have to lean towards. You know, expecting the worst. What is Murphy's Law or whatever, right? The worst is what's always going to happen or whatever. I understand that. I understand that you guys are going to always lean towards the notion that something's bad happened. So I'm going to just say the benefit of the doubt, right? Anything that's happened to me has just been that, where it's like, you guys don't know what's going on, and that's the way that the game of life plays out. You can't know what's going on with everybody all the time, and so you play it by ear. Right? But I've had way more good experiences with you guys than bad. It's just,
So, law enforcement aside, for mom and dad, right? They're concerned about whatever you're burning in your room. To me, it smells like an incense or sage.
yeah.
Right?
And I mean, honestly, I'm just trying to prove a philosophical point, which means that, if there's enough reason to, not disclose information when there's reason to not disclose information, then there's enough reason to not disclose information when there's no reason not to disclose information.
It's not
A little
fair.
bit lost on there, and
I mean-
to me, it doesn't make any difference because I'm not here trying
Yeah.
to bust you up.
All right.
To mom and dad, it's their house, right?
Yeah.
When you're burning stuff in their house, it does leave property damage, right? You ever been inside of a house that used to be a smoker's house after the person who smoked moved out? It doesn't go away, right? The smoke actually settles on the ceiling,
Yeah.
it leaves smoke marks.
I'm
All it is
sure,
for mom and
man.
dad is they want to know what's going on there.
I know life is just,
That's it.
for sure.
Right? And if that was the case, then we probably wouldn't have even gotten called here.
And I want to give the good guys. I want to give the good guys credit. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be a bad guy myself. I'm literally just trying to I think that I don't know, man. I'm trying to find my way. You know what I mean? I'm trying to find my way, and I'm not trying to step on anyone's foot. I just kind of keep looking at what it is that I see people doing that actually kind of have made and found a way, but then it's just like this thing that I grab onto that's like an illusion or something like that, and then all of a sudden the problems reform, and then they just become like these bigger kind of metaphors of problems that I never actually really left or something like that. I don't know.
So what could we do different? I mean, all you have to do is talk to us and tell us what's going on. But you would rather argue and
No, I
not.
wouldn't. I honestly, you walked in and I said, you know what? I'm not trying to.
I went and checked all the kitchens first. I checked the other rooms to see if there was smoke coming somewhere. Something was burning. Nothing's burning. There's nothing smelling.
I
in
think
the
it's
room.
honestly probably the thing that's most amazing to me is that the smoke alarm in my room didn't go off. I actually think that that's the most amazing thing. But but you came. It makes me think that there's something else more up than
Yeah,
anything.
Parents just can smell.
Hey man,
smoke.
I'm not gonna argue because
Yeah,
I've had a mom, right? I'm
For
probably
sure.
about the same age as you are. I get it, right?
30.
Um,
You know what? I've lived a. You know what? If most people go off and like, yeah, it's like you usually get the picture of like the. I don't know, the dude living in his mom's basement, right? It's fine. I can laugh it off. You know what I mean? It's just I've had a series of unfortunate events, and I'm trying to like find my way, but not be suckered into like doing a job that I don't enjoy or something like that. You know what I mean?
and I'm not hating on
So-
anything like that, but the series of unfortunate events you went through up to this point, right? We are here at mom and dad's house.
Yep.
Is there anything we can do tonight so that you, mom and dad, can have this settled and you're not arguing and getting us called back? That's all I'm looking for. When we leave, are you good showing mom and dad your room so they can see, hey, there's no hard drugs in here? I'm just.
Yeah, I'll go and walk them through. I have no problem. I have no problem with you guys can come in my room if you want. I don't care. We could all have a slumber party. You know what I mean? Like, I really have nothing to hide. I'm a pretty open person. Like, I show my stupidity every day. I'm comfortable with my stupidity. I want my life to mean something, but I think that that's the struggle, right? Because the more that we want it to mean something, actually the worse that it kind of gets because then the problems get greater. And I think that that's kind of this almost, right? And then we become worse individuals ourselves because we want our life to mean more. But then,
Yeah,
but then,
it could've been
but then
avoided.
people call us
The whole thing
stupid.
could've been
But then
avoided,
listen,
Austin.
but then people call us stupid when it is that we don't actually become like a greater problem ourselves. And so then
I'm not following you either, but I'll we want to give you opportunities.
All right.
You don't want those. You want to
Fine.
file your own field and do your own thing, and that's fine. But there's things that
yeah,
have
you
to
guys
happen.
have your talent. I mean, that, to me, it just falls into that whole thing of, I think that the problems get elevated, and I honestly am trying to navigate.
How could have that been not elevated though, Austin? How could have this been handled different?
How could have this been handled differently if I was to try and replay this in my head? I feel like you honestly could have acted a little bit differently when, like,
Well, when
you
I'm
walked into
worried
my
that
room.
something's burning in the house, we have had a fire in your bedroom before.
You know, I was watching myself today, and it was like, Austin, stupid will kill you. Stupid will, stupid will take all your money and leave you for dead, man. And I just feel that totally right now.
So, do I have a reason to be concerned
No,
when I
you
smell
don't.
smoke?
I'm not doing anything. I honestly feel like I'm a little cherub. Like, I have nothing, but I feel like a little angel, like, all day. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm
I don't do anything.
I'm trying to do as much as anybody else, but at the same point in time, not try and diminish what anybody else is doing.
Mom and dad.
So I am still concerned what it is. I mean, he's not said what this is. I mean, I can still smell it. It smells like bad BO something.
Austin, are you okay? Open your door just so we can look in there. And...
Yeah, you guys can come in my room. I don't care. I'll have a
Okay.
party with some
Appreciate it,
police
man.
officers.
Sweet.
What a night. Well, this is my room. It's my Andy Warhol, Jackson Pollock thing.
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
So this is where I live stream every day, and I try and make it big.
What do you live stream?
Lately I've been live streaming like StarCraft. I'm ranked in the Diamond League, if that means
StarCraft
anything.
3?
StarCraft 2 actually.
Is this a heater?
Right, it is a heater, but it's just set on a fan right now. Yeah, it looks very precarious.
No, I was just curious. It looks like a heater, but I just didn't want to touch it.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a heater, but it's set on the cool mode right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, no, I'm not doing anything illegal in here.
No, I get that. What was it though you were burning? Is it just an incense or sage or something?
I don't know how far I'm trying to like.
Just be honest, man.
Yeah, I know. I've
Cigars
been
or
to too many. I've been to too many philosophy classes, and honestly, that's just messed up my head. Like, to be straight up with you guys. So
I already
I
told
don't-
you it doesn't smell like anything
Yeah.
illegal. I just want to know what
Yeah.
it is so we can tell your mom and dad. Is it the cigars? If it's the cigars, then we're done. And that's it. They can-
No, no. I just feel a great amount of pressure right now. I don't know if it's like good pressure or bad pressure, and I'm trying to understand.
we just are here trying to help
yeah.
mom and dad and you settle this feud. And I can tell you right now from
Yeah,
being through.
I want to
situations
listen
like
to you guys. I want to listen to you guys.
The
you know?
feud is settled by showing mom and dad there's nothing to worry about because they're just worried about their house, and that's it. So you show them that it's not anything for them to be worried about inside their house, and the feud goes away. Right?
Yeah.
It's a simple answer for solving an otherwise less simple problem. But that's what they want, is they want to know what's going on in here so that they can sleep well at night knowing that you're not burning the house down or doing anything illegal. Like I said, I'm not smelling anything illegal. I just would like to help settle a feud so you don't have to sit here and fight with your parents when we leave in 2 minutes, right?
The other thing is, man,
Yeah,
like
what's
I
up?
mentioned to you before, okay,
What's up? Yeah, I'm listening.
is that with you living in their home, okay, now you say you pay rent, they're disputing that, but either way, okay, understand that if
I mean, that's
you're living in,
when someone's taking money from you and you label it on their rent
like I said,
December 2020.
I'm not
Don't know how you
saying I'm not
dispute
saying
that.
you're lying to me about it. I'm just
Yeah.
okay. I'm just telling you, all right? You're living in their home, right? And if you're paying rent, great. If not, that's fine. That doesn't really matter. Because what I'm getting at is that because you're living in their home,
Yeah.
all right, like I mentioned to you before, if they choose to say, hey, look, you're not following our rules and you're not working with us on things, we don't want you here anymore, okay?
For
then
sure.
they can remove you from here, okay? They can go through the eviction process and have you removed from here.
Yeah, I
Now,
understand.
I'm sure that's not something that you want to do.
Well, I would.
Okay? Seems like you have it pretty well set up here, okay? So my suggestion is to somehow learn to work with your parents, all right, on resolving situations like this without police being involved, okay? Because obviously that doesn't do anybody any good once we get involved. If you guys are able to handle it without us, it's the best case scenario, right? And the other thing is like, I know you say you've been to, I guess some mental health places before.
I've been to like 3 or 4. Not of my own. Like, I never went and checked in. Literally, the very first one I got checked into, I was homeless.
Okay. But your parents have helped you through that, or have,
They're the ones that sent me
they
there.
kind of put you in the process of it, I guess, is what
I
they mentioned to
mean-
me. So I just want you to understand, like, it, again, if
And
you're
that's
not
see
working
this.
with them-
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a big like. Can you understand how
I do.
that's like a big thing where it's like, wow, you guys really did
Look,
that. You guys really
but
did
you
me
have to
dirty
remember-
with that one. You know what I mean?
I get,
Then I have to
get
come
where you're
back and
coming
it's like I
from.
can't go anywhere else, and I can't go anywhere else. And how am I supposed to, at this age, go and try and start off on the street to actually make a decent living for myself?
Well, and like
You know
I
what I
said,
mean?
okay, when I was talking to your dad, all right.
Yeah.
It sounds like you got some pretty good opportunities that you could take advantage of, considering how your dad's self-employed. Sounds like
No, it's
could help.
that's his life. That's his shoe. Those are his shoes, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But it's a starting point, right?
I understand that,
It's a
but
starting point. When you're just tossing your hands up saying, oh, well, there's nothing I can do, so I'm not going to do anything. And then instead of saying, well, at least I can start here and work towards where I want to be one day, even though it may not be the start of the path that I want to go down, eventually I can branch off of that to do what I want to do. And that might be a better option than just sitting here with your arms folded and saying, well, I can't really do much.
I mean, the
Because, be honest
funny
with
thing
me,
is
how
I
many people
look at
make it off
I
of
look
live
at
streams?
plenty of people that have pretty decent lives live streaming.
Right, but again,
That's what I'm saying.
what's
It's just a grand illusion.
how long have you been doing it?
Like 4 years,
And where are you at?
right here, man.
Exactly. You see my point? Like, it's very rare.
Yeah, but then see, like I said, philosophy has messed with my head because then you actually contemplate notions of what it actually means to be wealthy, and then what happens is it takes a reverse aspect where then it's actually diminishing of responsibility.
But do you think that in your current situation
That
you
I'm
consider
extremely
yourself
rich?
as being wealthy?
I think that everybody should perceive themselves as that at some point in time.
But you get
If
what
I'm-
I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand what you're
diverting from the answering the question because you know that in some way
Yeah, but I think-
I'm right in what I'm telling you. But
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right,
but what I would say is that everybody would have to look at their own lives.
But so here's the deal, okay?
What's up?
At this point, like I said, I don't know what it is that's been burning in here, but whatever it is, I'm going to suggest that you stop doing it because if you don't, your parents might take a different path to where you don't stay here anymore. Okay?
For sure.
That's an option that's
So
out
I have a
there.
question. What happens like with all my stuff? What if I literally have like invested like I have gold and silver and stuff like that like on this property? So like what happens if I get taken away? Is that just like all
What do you
kaput?
mean by taken away?
No, your property is still your property, and if there's any dispute over it, you take care of it in civil court.
Yeah.
All right.
Ultimately,
It's
that's
just
not even
like-
what we're going with, right? We just wanted to make sure you and parents aren't going to be fighting tonight. Make sure we figured out there's not anything illegal happening.
Yeah.
We've established both of those. If we can just promise to not argue with mom and dad, help them sleep better at night, that's all we're looking for tonight. Okay, man? I do appreciate you showing us your room, just so we can have that peace of mind. So thank you for that. But I'm going to get
For
out of your
sure.
hair so you can do your thing, okay?
Wasn't expecting this tonight, you guys, but anyways,
I appreciate you cooperating
All right.
with me.
Have a good
yeah,
night.
yeah, you guys too.
Fix every problem, but you guys, hopefully don't have any more dispute tonight, which is what I told him, really what we want to make sure happens. is arguing with each other, so. Well, have a better night.
Okay, thanks guys.
Anything else, just give us a call, okay?
Well,
You bet. Okay. So, did he tell you I told him to back off?
No, I didn't say that.
So if you wanna do,
What?
if you wanna say, you know what?
You
I-
sound like he was talking to you about your work and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys want to go and talk some more upstairs. I guess whatever. Bam Margera used to film and stream this stuff all the time. So
Here, the deal is,
whatever.
if you wanna say,
who knew? Who knew I'd be living in a
If you say I.
20th century version of
I'm gonna tell you,
Jackass?
Austin, I'm gonna just sit and listen to Mumbo Jumbo.
I'm not trying to say any mumbo jumbo, but that's what I feel like. I feel like I'm living in a 21st century like, you know what the Jackass guys are? There's this guy named Bam Margera, and he was always filming stuff like this, and he'd get taken away by the police all the time. His parents would call the cops on him.
You're not gonna be square with this.
I'm not trying to
in our
not do
house.
anything.
If you don't tell us what you're smoking, whatever, then the deal is I'll go ahead and I'm gonna do it.
I came
your
up here to
way.
talk
I'm
with.
gonna do it your way.
Listen to me for a second. I came up here because you said, "Did you hear me tell him to back off?"
Yeah.
And so that's obviously you taking my side a little bit and at least having some sort of. I understand that. So then I said, "Let's come up here and talk." And then I was trying to make it funny a little bit I'm trying to diminish the fact that I'm using this as some self-defense right here, because there is a show where some guy would, I would say, he actually had a pretty good relationship with his parents. He really did.
You could
His name's
too.
Bam Margera. He had a pretty good relationship with his parents. But there was always a lot of stuff going on. And I'm not trying to be like that at all. I'm just saying, I just said that as a way to ease the tension a little bit, that I'm using this as some self-defense and stuff like that right now. Right? And I understand the fact that by you saying, hey, did he tell you that I told him to ease off? He came down, the bald one was in there talking with me for quite a bit. And then the other guy came in and kind of relieved him. And he was just talking with me about, I need to stop trying to go down my route of how it is that I'm trying to make money. And he said that I just need to take the opportunity that you have for me to go and do construction. But, you know, and then the other guy was just talking with me about, honestly, just being civil with people that I'm around. And I understand both of what they're saying. I understand both those things of what both of them said to me. And I believe that both of them have good insight in terms of,
I can't stand the smell that's in here. It makes me want to throw up. I was already nauseous, and now I just feel like I need to go out and throw up. I'm allergic to some stuff, some smoke and whatnot, and I can't stand it.
well,
So you're doing some harm. You're doing a lot more harm than you realize.
here's the thing though. Do you not think that, like, anyways, I'm not trying to, I guess, pull skeletons out of closets here, you know? I'm not trying to do that. I just thought that maybe I could come up here, and if we're having some, like, sort of little intervention or whatever that's going on, and you guys don't think that I do a lot or whatever, you know, then that's a problem.
I don't know how much you do. I don't know how much you work at your job. I don't know any of that.
No, I'm operating off of a lot of things, because I was talking with that guy. He's like, how long have you been doing this for? And I told him, like, 4 years. I haven't made any money. Right? I haven't made any money doing it at all. And so what I've been doing this last little while is I read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it talks about how people pay people to make things simple. You don't pay someone to complexity leads actually to something never being finished, because complexity just spirals off into infinity. That's what infinity is just another synonym for infinity is just complexity. And so people get paid to do things simply. And so I've been operating off this philosophy of trying to, like, go and promote some of the artwork that I've done. I've done a lot of artwork. I made a bunch of t-shirts, and I figured, well, if art represents a complex, then maybe I can kind of, like, send this water out there, and then it will evaporate into some clouds and then run back to me or something like that. And maybe that's like some cycle of me having something complex turn back into something simple. And the way that I then make my life simple is by then just going out and doing the DoorDash thing. And I have a problem with trying to, like, do everything around the house and everybody's chores and everybody asking me all the time to go and do this and go and do that.
Oh, Austin Bogan.
No, just listen to me for a
Nobody
second.
hardly ever asks you to do anything.
Just,
You get asked very seldom to do something.
I know. I'm just saying that I have a problem with that, because I think that what happens is that that's like the nature of the beast.
Well, you're wrong.
I just think that's the nature of the beast.
We all have responsibilities. And we all do stuff we don't like to do. And so none of the complex crap.
Because no, this is what I'm saying. Like, look at your mind as you're growing up and becoming older. The awareness of what is a problem within reality itself is on par with your awareness of age.
I'm not gonna.
But if that's
listen to
if
this stuff,
why?
Austin, I'm sorry.
Just make it more
I'm-
simple,
I'm
Austin. You're
just-
talking about things being simple, then you need to talk more simple.
This
Okay.
you've got to.
I'm trying to make it simple. Maybe if this is reality. How is that not reality?
Because the way
You're talking about
discussing
making
it.
No.
complex things simple.
Because you-
by-
Listen, let me navigate back a little bit here.
This doesn't have anything to do with what stinks in this house.
Me, I guess I stink.
Is it a cigar?
No, it's me. I
Is it-
stink.
is it a
I
cigar?
stink.
Is it a
I'm the one that
cigar?
stinks.
Okay.
Listen to me for a second.
Okay, I'm not going to. I'm going to do it your way, though. I'm going to do it your way because you want to play the rental thing. Tomorrow, I'm going to give you a 5-day notice to get out. Okay?
You want me to play your game? Is this some hard game of reality? You want me to play this game of reality?
This is the reality thing. Tomorrow, I'm going to give you a 5-day notice to get out. It's what we do with our renters in Vernal when they're not following the rules of our house. When they're doing damage into our house, when
I'm not damaging the home at all.
you're making it smell bad enough that I can't stay in here.
Can you listen to me for just a second? Because I was getting to where it is that you say I have no responsibility and I don't do anything.
I didn't say that.
You said that earlier.
I said you don't.
You don't do anything around here. You said that.
No. You do your thing. I don't know what all you do. But when I told you there for a minute you were a butt and whatnot, I probably said that. But the fact of the matter is you're asked to do very little. We're asking you to just be a part of things.
All I'm trying to do is actually go somewhere and be somewhere where I can make a living doing what it is that I feel comfortable doing.
Well, if you're so good at it and you're not going to be part of the family here, go do it. That's what I keep saying.
So what I'm saying though is that I have to be given time here to make it there.
Sorry, Austin, you need to just buck up and you need to do what you're told to do. Not by just me, by a lot of people. Reality. We all do things every day we don't want to do. And you can be one of them, just like the rest of us. That's it. You're given opportunities. You need to take care of some of them. You need to do some of them.
Hey, well, earlier you said that you told that guy to lay off of me.
Yeah. I don't want you,
Why
I
didn't
didn't want you to haul off tonight.
So why can't I actually be here for long enough until and given enough to actually try and make something of this so I can
Because you're doing stuff like tonight, and you're doing nonsense down there. You're not even willing to say what you're smoking, and it's making it nasty in here. I can't hardly stand it. And it's not getting any better right now.
You say you want time to do something, but Austin, you've been had a lot of time.
well, I need more time.
Well, you ran out of time. You want to come in here and live stream and stuff? You're not even giving us privacy. That's another reason I'm not going to put up with this nonsense. You need some help. Either it'll be forced on you, or you go get it yourself. Now, what stinks in our house?
Right now, you.
What stinks in the house?
Right now,
What
you
did you
stink.
burn? Is it a cigar?
Why can't you just let it go?
Is it a cigar?
After all of that, you
What
can't just let it
stinks
go?
in the house?
Why can't you just let it go after all of
Okay,
that?
we don't know. I'll give him a 5-day notice tomorrow. That gives you 5 days.
It's just like
And
the
then-
guy said, all you have to do is be honest and tell. You wouldn't even do it for them.
Yeah, well, See, Weston has been telling me he's been watching this show called The Good Place. And the grand irony of it is that if every action that you did, you understood, you'd receive a reciprocating effect of goodness for it, all of a sudden your life would make so much logical sense that you'd cease to exist. So there's actually a grand irony with being awarded for good deeds in existence.
Why
Anyways.
don't you try that?
Huh?
Why don't you try that?
Because I've already proved the fallacy of it.
What's that?
You've done enough goods to prove that it doesn't pay back?
Listen for just 1 second here.
I've been listening for like an hour too long.
No, you haven't been listening at all because I ask you things. I have this whole thing recorded, and then all of a sudden, 10 minutes later, I tell you about something that you said, and you say you never said it. But it's here on film, on footage.
I've told you what I'm doing tomorrow. You're not telling me what's burning in this house, what's making me sick. I'm giving you a notice of eviction tomorrow.
Well, maybe you're the problem if it's making you sick.
Maybe. But I'll live with the decision I make.
You look so much like Delmer right now.
I'll live with the decision I've made. Okay, let's watch our show.
I don't want to watch the show.
I'll go get the eviction right now.
What do you think about just kicking me out on the streets? What is why?
Well, we are a family, and you don't try to be a part of the family.
No, I would if actually I could be afforded the ability to have some contingency in my life in regards to me being respected for what it is that I do. And then maybe when it is that I was surrounded by people that actually I had feelings for, then I wouldn't feel like I had to protect or guard myself from them.
But you don't share those things that you're doing. I mean, we don't have any idea if you're doing anything.
You guys don't like what it is that I do. I share with you guys tons of stuff that I do all the time. I could open up the messaging app. I talked with Weston today. I talked with Branson the other day. I share stuff with Jessica all the time. I send stuff to the Hyde family messaging group all the time.
Your videos and things like that you're making.
More than just that, I don't always just send stuff in regards to just things from my YouTube channel.
That's what I get.
And I try to make it funny and I try to make it relevant to what you guys are talking about. Sometimes I feel like maybe
What
there's...
would you do, Austin, if you were the parent?
If I was the parent, obviously I would say that, like, there comes a point where you're literally, like, what does he want me to do? To, like, fulfill the Wild West or something like that? If he wants me to do that, why doesn't he just say that to me then? Should I go out and get a horse and go ride across the countryside? Because that honestly at this point in time seems like the only option if he's going to kick me out, because I can't make a living any other way in this godforsaken world. So should I just go and get a horse and go and ride out into the Wild West?
Why can't you make a living?
I don't know why I can't. I've been trying to for the last 30 years. Never had a girlfriend. I'm born just a cursed dude living in his parents' basement.
Why have you never had a girlfriend?
I don't know.
Do you think if you changed your appearance that would help?
Obviously it didn't when my appearance was different.
Yeah, you
So,
have the appearance
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. One day, try it like 25 years, lady. That had nothing to do with me actually having anyone be affectionate towards me ever. So if that's the case, I might as well actually be what it is that I like enjoy, I guess, appearing as. I maintain a sense of hygiene. Probably a greater sense of hygiene than a lot of other things living on this property. A lot greater sense of hygiene than a lot of things living on this property. I just feel like you should go and back me up a little bit in regards to this dude over there trying to,
Austin, you have to,
like, what do they want me to do?
I mean.
Just go and be
ask
some,
you to do something, you know what you do? You just leave. You've been doing that for a long time. If there's something that we need help with or something that you could do.
no,
to
I
actually help,
always make
just
up.
leave.
No, I always make up for a sense of, because I feel like you go to a climbing gym, you know what they call all the things on the walls? They call them problems. And you want to know what? There's a crew of people behind the wall making the problems. Did you know that? So when I see all these problems around the world, I have to go around and weed through the ones that I feel like are just being made up. Because the ones that are made up,
Problem,
you do those
the
for
made up
fun.
problem that there's something that needs picked up or moved or done something.
I think that
with.
if the problems get serious enough, then actually what happens is they'll actually,
See, in other words, you're just not going to do it because you're just going to.
no, because they
Really
become too,
way out.
they become so demanding that literally what ends up happening is they shortchange themselves. Any problem that actually becomes too demanding literally will instigate like an operating mechanism within reality to then subdue itself, because if it is taken to that extreme, well, then if you take into consideration all these other notions, then it is actually put to it literally being diminished into nothing. And so what happens is when problems get elevated to that state,
When you're saying a problem, what is a problem? What are you constituting as a problem?
being told to do something or being held responsible for something.
So that's a problem for you.
What, being told to do something?
Yes. Or asked.
Well, like I said, I think that obviously, just
Anytime
like
you're
everything
asked
else,
to do something, it's a problem. Or anytime you're told to do something.
I would like to be given the time to actually be able to think about what it is that is I'm being asked to do, because I think that
One time, and I've more than one time, I've given you lists, so you've had plenty of time to think about it.
but that's because here's the thing. If I dedicate all of my time to just doing stuff like that, then why am I given visions of grandeur in regards to what is possible, or what actually, there are people that exist that live these lifestyles, and I'm constantly surrounded or bombarded by this, and they actually navigate and surround us in our lives in terms of a sense of what I would like to say as a sense of like attention, where then as we ourselves, I guess, either fulfill their properness in attention, but the thing is all these things live beyond us.
Well, it seems like you're always trying to draw as much attention.
And so if I
to
just
yourself
dedicate
as
all of
you
my,
want, I mean, by your appearance.
but see there's a
by wearing
problem.
A towel outside.
That actually
talking in a
that actually
towel.
works.
Well, fine, but it's like to me, it looks like you just want attention from me.
Oh,
By wearing your hair
I don't
with
care.
like Pippi Longstocking.
I look like a giraffe.
Yeah, it kind of does look like
Yeah,
a giraffe.
exactly. That's what I thought too. I thought it was kind of cool.
So to me, it just looks like you're trying to draw attention to yourself.
I'm just trying to experience life. I'm not trying to draw attention to anything. But what I mean is this, is that the grand irony is that we have these visions of grandeur, of these things that exist in like
life, and that's like, oh, I want that.
No, but then the real problem is that that actually, if those things exist in that place where it is that they're kind of like in a state of what actually holds things to a sense of responsibility for their actions, what is then like a feedback mechanism of realities either supporting their decisions or nullifying their decisions. The grand irony of those visions of grandeur, those things that actually we hold ourselves to in regards to either feeling worthwhile or not, in regards to our own accomplishments or what we've done or how we appear. The problem is that by them actually being in that space, what allows them to actually judge then actually takes away from the fact that like,
Why don't you just use somebody's name in an example of what you're actually talking about?
because it's a process that you get to the conclusion, and then you talk about it, and then eventually it will kind of just like turn the light bulb on,
I'd rather
so to
just be
speak.
more direct.
Well, a light bulb has a filament in it, which is a loopy, curvy thing. You ever opened one up and looked at it?
Austin, if you could just
I'm not
be-
trying. That's a simple thing in your life. It's surrounding all over the place, but it does. It has a wire in there that goes around and it
That's
spins
fine,
all
you
around
know
inside
what
of
I'm
it.
saying.
Yeah, but I'm trying to come to the point as well. But like I said, eventually it will just light up like a light bulb. But obviously I'm asking for you to like humor me for just a little bit.
We do all the time, Austin, and we'd rather just speak and talk and have it.
Yeah, it's fine. And I do that 99.999% of the time. Yes, I do.
Half the time you ignore me and won't even answer me. So I just thought, well, if you won't answer me, why do I even acknowledge him? You told me that. You'd rather
No,
not
that's
even speak to me.
because I'm experimenting with other things where if things work the way they should, then there should be an allowance of what it is that falls under what could be going on with somebody at a time, to then actually give them the allowance to.
You're not like a real tenant here. We're family.
Yeah, family of the greatest nightmares on earth. Oh man.
So I should be allowed to say, oh, Austin, what are you doing? Oh, you're getting home from work? That would be just,
But the problem is that it's like the more that I lighten up, then the more that I just get trapped here.
trapped in what?
I just get trapped here. The more that I lighten up, and it's like I just come up and I just surround myself with you guys and I just do all this stuff, I just get trapped here.
Feel comfortable and safe? Is that what you mean? By being trapped?
No, I get trapped here because then it's a lessening of me actually going out and doing things on my own. If the more that I lighten up here, then the more difficult it becomes for me to actually try to make my way out of here.
So how could you do
I'll be right back.
differently, though? I mean, I get that you want to be on
And so
your own-
it's like
your
I'm
own
obviously trying to be somebody that's civil at the same point in time, while understanding that the more that I do just lighten up and just allow everything in here to take care of me, but then what happens is the more that I have to go and do all this other stuff that doesn't allow me to do my own things to then get out of here.
Well, there's more to it than just that.
Cause you're not doing things that are gonna allow you to get out of here, Austin.
There's a book.
I probably should get a lawyer if I'm working with this guy up here. Vampire, man. You will. I should probably get a lawyer if I'm working with you any longer. I'm gonna go and get my book, my lawyer book.
There you go. It's been served.
Should I go get my tennis racket and like pick it up with my tennis racket and throw it back at you, or what? Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men tried to put Humpty together again. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Oh, what's this huge mess down here? I didn't do any of that. Me and the law. Anyways, so if we're held to a sense of worth by the things that themselves are in a place that what are you feeling right now?
Think that we've not done you any favors
No.
by letting you stay here for this long.
Well, you know, I was pretty much born in a basement.
No, you
And
weren't.
what you want to say about that? So,
You weren't born in a basement.
I think that was my first room downstairs, was in that basement room downstairs.
It wasn't your first room.
Oh, well, obviously not. You know, I haven't tried to do anything in my life except for just live up to standards and not step on anybody's toes. And occasionally I think that we might step on people's toes, right? But that's as much as them being able to get over that, as much as we're able to not try and step on people's toes when that does happen, because people are different and people wear different size shoes and have different size feet, and so it's going to happen. But that means that when somebody's toes do get stepped on, they need to man up just as much as the person that stepped on their toes.
Yeah, why don't you just tell us what you've been
So-
doing downstairs and why is our house all smoky?
That's because there are other issues going on about stepping before taking precedence, before stepping on people's toes.
There shouldn't be any other issue other than just saying, Mom, Dad, this is what I was doing.
Well,
If you have a problem with it, I'm sorry, I won't
the
do it
bigger
anymore.
problem is just that, like, you guys not appreciating me at all.
No, we appreciate you and we love you.
Is that why I was berated with the constant negative
Austin,
remarks for the
there's
last
something
hour?
going on in the house that you won't fess up to or say what's going on.
Yeah, there's something really big going on in the house.
No, there's smoke in the house.
Well, it's a pretty
And all
strange
you
kind of
live-
smoke because it didn't set off any fire alarms.
Yeah, obviously yours doesn't work either.
Well,
There's
then
no other smoke fire alarms in this house. They're all dead.
They're not.
Yes, they are. They all are taken out.
No, they're not.
You want me to show you a basket of all the dead smoke alarms?
Why'd you guys take out all your smoke alarms?
Because they need replaced. They all got old and they need replaced.
There's got to be another one around here
There's
somewhere.
not.
Downstairs, I replaced those batteries of those ones in the big TV room.
Nope, there's not even one in there.
Really?
Painted the house, they mudded over the smoke alarm.
They just mudded right over it, huh?
So that was a false sense of security for you, thinking the smoke alarm, if it doesn't go off, then it must be okay.
That had nothing to do with any of my actions at all. It was just trying to prove a point that obviously whatever is going on, there's more than what's going on than just the fact that there's smoke.
Well, yeah, obviously
That's
there
what I'm
is,
saying.
Because you won't communicate with us and talk to us like we're adults. Instead, you like playing these games
No.
and doing these things that make it hard.
No, I honestly,
You're stubborn.
find anything?
A mess.
It's not mine.
Probably melted the top of the cabinet. Is this what stinks?
Smell it. Is it hot? Yeah.
You damaged the top of that cabinet underneath this thing.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, still, he could start a fire.
Oh no, it's not cool. You got your phone?
Yeah.
Did you take a picture?
You're obviously exaggerating things again. Who am I at war with here?
What?
Said, who am I at war with here?
I see it.
Yourself. 100% yourself. It's not us. We would just as soon you play by the rules of life and
See, but there's a problem. There's a flaw in the rules of life, because where I was getting at is we're held to a sense of worth by the attention of what it is that is beyond us.
I'll do it.
I need to wash the ink off. He's got something that's made a mess out of it.
I'd like you to stay out of my room. I'm not a baby.
You need to get them cans and stuff out of there too. Clean the place up. I wanna see what kind of damage has been done to that cabinet.
No damage at all. Mr. Grumpy Gills.
And that smell.
So, if we're held to a sense of worth by what it is that gives us an amount of attention, then the flaw with the perception of worth is that
You got tape on these walls that's taking the paint off the walls.
Well, there's more damage on that.
well, why are you messing with my Jackson Pollock, Andy Warhol? That's my room, dude. I decorate that. You don't have a right to go in there and take down my decorations. Get out of my stuff. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna go take down my paintings now too? What's he doing?
He's looking for whatever's smelling. All I have to do is tell him what it is. But you're too stubborn.
I'm just trying to make a point that honestly, it's like, so then what happens is the only way that what it is that's at a distance can then judge us for a worth, it then itself has to come close to us. But then by that point in time, where then it's no longer what's at a distance, what is then the vision of grandeur, then it actually loses the ability to then hold us at what it is that we call attention, because then it's close to us. Therefore, then there is the flaw within the perception of what it is that we reach for and strive for.
I don't know, Austin. All I know is that you make it a lot harder than it needs to be.
I'm just cursed to exist, Mom. I'm just a curse. What is the song? How's the song go? Is there a song? I need to write it.
No, it doesn't have to be. that
I'm a
hard.
living man. What's the song? I'm a something man. Oh, it's from Soggy Bottom Boys. That's what it is. Do you know which song I'm talking about? It's got the actor in it that reminds me of Brother Moon. You know who I'm talking about?
Forrest Gump.
Not Forrest Gump. It's got the guy. He's in Ocean's 11. Danny Ocean is what he's called in the Ocean 11s. What is he doing down there? So then really the only thing that we actually hold to as a form of judgment is a sense of the beyond. The thing is that as soon as what it is that actually removes itself from the beyond to then actually be in our midst to then judge us, then it no longer has the sense of the vision of grandeur that is the beyond. So really, the only thing that has the sense of the vision of grandeur is the beyond itself. But then, like I said, then that's the actual flaw within, really all of this in regards to like striving or like to reach like attainment or something like that. Or like the news is a good example of that. All of these things which then represent distance, whether it's photographs or pictures, or news or entertainment, because as soon as they then remove themselves from that distance, then they no longer represent that vision of the beyond or that vision of grandeur, and then they actually lose the ability to then hold us to what it is that we would then have to maintain a sense of having like a proper display of ourselves for. Because the only way something can actually perceive you is by being a certain distance from you. And then the closer that it then gets, we actually lose the ability to then actually have a proper sense of display anyways. And so then there's a light bulb just turning on. All right, what's the damage done down here, man? Wasn't destroying anything.
You destroyed the walls. I mean, they've got
Nothing that honestly I can't repair in 10 minutes tomorrow.
No, you can't repair that in 10 minutes. How are you going to do that in 10 minutes? How are you going to start? I wish you could repair it in 10 minutes, but you can't buy the paint and paint the whole wall in 10 minutes.
Well, there's plenty of other scars that are all over that room that I managed to make look half decent, so I guess I'll just do the same with that.
All I had to do is tell us what's making us sick.
And all you guys, it's not making anybody sick, man.
It smells like a stinky bonfire in this house, Austin.
I don't get who this person is that I'm dealing with in regards to like.
Given the opportunity a week ago, I said, please think about it.
What, you guys don't get the fact
Please
that I'm
come
actually.
to me halfway. I'm saying, I'll go to you halfway, come to me halfway.
Yeah, but the problem is that I'm just honestly trying to build up a defense for myself. I don't know what's going to happen later on down the road. Okay, I know this is a minor thing, all right. I know it's a very minor thing. And I'm trying to defend a lot of other people than myself, too. I'm trying to defend a lot of other people in regards to what it is that they have to disclose about whatever it is that they're doing all the time. And I'm trying to set up a very strong defense for myself, because like I said, if stuff like this happens and it's out of nowhere, then I'd like to
more than out of nowhere, so.
I'd like to be able to have myself already have a defense for certain things that might come up later on that I don't know what's going to happen. And so tonight has just been an exercise in that.
Tonight was more than an exercise, Austin. Tonight you burned some bridges.
I've built way many galactic ports than bridges I've burned, so I doubt I've actually diminished my ability to go anywhere.
I told you the other day, I said, I'm gonna back off. I told you a week ago, I'm gonna back off.
I just
I
wish
said,
that.
I want you to come halfway. I'll come halfway, you come halfway.
With
I'll
what?
try to listen to you, I'll try to.
Dude, you want to know what it's okay, man. Just hold up a second. You know that I come up and I joke around with you all the time just as much as all this other stuff. You know that. You know that I have I have more fun with you than all this junk put together. You know that.
This junk.
You know that the other day you know that the other day you, Branson, and me were up in here hooting and hollering and had
All
a
you
great
would have had
time.
to say is, Dad, I burned a bunch of bark down there and stunk things up. It burned up a pan and got ink all over.
You know what?
And you know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry for making it smell like a stinky wet cigar in here. That's all it would have taken.
Maybe.
Reality.
Maybe the way that you guys approach things could be different.
I came down and asked you.
Why
Mom
can't
came
you
down
guys
and
approach things
just
differently?
ask you, what's
Why
the
can't-
smell?
Listen, why can't you guys approach things differently, and then all of a sudden, if you guys don't get like the answers that you're looking for, you guys immediately listen
how
for
should
just a
we have
second.
approached it?
If you guys don't automatically get the answers you're looking for, you guys all automatically resort to honestly the most extreme measures possible.
How should we have
You guys
approached
resort
it?
to the most extreme measures possible.
You could have burned the house down.
No, I know what I'm doing. I'm not. You guys aren't dealing with somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. You guys aren't dealing with somebody who.
Obviously, that isn't true. Because you burned it in the top of that chest of drawers.
No, I have not.
You melded something into it.
He did it a long time ago.
Okay.
So you're exaggerating things without.
No, you've got a pan that's been melded or something on the top of that. But that's not the point here. How could we have approached this different there with you tonight to find out what was going on? How should we have done it different?
Well, first off, you guys can understand a greater perspective of what it is that I'm trying to actually pursue in my life, so that when other things arise and you guys can then look at what it is that I'm doing to then understand it, a little bit better. And perhaps then say like, yeah, he's got his own stuff that's going on.
Do you feel bad about making the house smell like this?
I feel bad for you, man.
Okay.
I feel bad for you because
That answered my question. That answered my question.
I put in there to give them to Robert.
What?
Those are Robert's. I put in there so I could take them over to him.
Okay. Do we have the case? I don't know that we did ever have a case.
like I just feel
I
bad
asked
for
you a
you
question.
because
If you even felt bad about making this house smell like this, and he says, I'd feel bad for you. You answered my question. You made my.
I just feel bad for you because like
I hurt badly.
no you don't.
I ache for
You
you.
don't know what hurt is, dude.
Okay.
How would you know that he doesn't know?
Because I'm still alive
If you
after
had a kid,
everything I've been put through.
if you had a boy your age that did stuff like this,
What, they grew up in as much religious
would make-
grew up in as
it
much
would make
religious
you-
turmoil as you guys put me
it
through?
would make you feel bad.
Yeah. You guys know how much religious turmoil you guys put me through?
Blame it on religion now. That's what it comes down to. That's what you've started doing lately. You started blaming it on religion.
You guys have brought me up in honestly the most religiously extreme environment in existence.
Blame it on religion.
Yeah, you have. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. How am I supposed to deal with that when all that information literally just collapses?
Everything
all
you've
that-
done up to this point.
All that information collapses every problem into some parabolic metaphor at a distance. So how am I doing any different than all that stuff you guys have brought me up with? And why have you guys removed all the fire alarms in the home?
Because they're all broke.
Well, that's something you guys need to get taken care of. You guys need me to go and get you guys some fire alarms tomorrow? What? What in the world does my life come to? I feel like this should be like the outro to some Kid Cudi song or something like that, where he sits there and, oh, why did I drink so much? Why did I smoke so much? But after he goes and conquers one hell, another hell presents itself. So are you guys done?
I will tell you one thing.
I'm listening.
You accomplished a lot of good stuff because of religion. You laid it all out there on the line 3 or 4 years ago. You did a lot of good stuff. You've seen a lot of things. Hey,
I'm listening to you,
finish.
man. I'm listening.
You gave of yourself in a lot of ways. You trusted, had faith, you did a lot of things. Don't throw it all away. I'm not saying you need to be religious. I'm not saying you need to believe this. I'm not saying you need to believe this or this or this. But I mean, you had a health code growing up.
I am physically fit. I can take my shirt off in the mirror and feel great
All
about
I'm saying
myself.
is don't
Why
do
do-
stuff.
I can-
You are. I believe you are physically.
And I
fit.
am very hygienic right now at the moment
Okay,
too.
but don't
There's nothing.
throw away all the good you've done because you've done a lot of good. Don't throw all out the window.
I
I'm not
just.
saying you're not not religion. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you need to be more religious.
All I'm
Just
wondering
saying
is that,
You're
like.
a good person with a lot going for you. You're very kind.
Well, honestly,
You're
Where is
got
my life
brothers and
going?
sisters that love you. You have uncles that love that. You have nephews that love you. You have a lot of people that love you. Don't throw it all away. Please don't throw it all away.
so what does that mean when you say then this, when you plead with me like this, please don't throw it all away. But then on the other hand, there's literally this, you've thrown a knife at me downstairs.
We went and asked you what was.
No, but listen. So about the 5 days notice, that's a knife. That's a knife waiting to cut me.
You wouldn't answer
Listen.
simple questions.
Okay, but then listen. Then why do you sit there and tell me, don't throw this all away? Can I go and throw that away then?
That's what you're doing, though. Is you're burning that bridge. You're burning that.
By throwing away the paper that says you have to evacuate in 5 days, I'm burning a bridge.
You're not even willing to ask you what is this? What is making
What?
me pukey? And you won't even say. Still, you say I don't care. That's throwing it away. That's throwing it away. The
You're literally
relationship
gonna-
We have.
You're literally going to. But that's what I'm saying. You have to be able to get over stuff like that, man. Trust me on this. Listen to me for a second on this. Just listen to me for 1 second on this, okay? If you literally strive your entire life to make everything have it make 100% complete sense to you, life to continue on your experience of it will complexify itself to greater heights that you can't imagine for you to remain conscious there in it, okay? Which means that it will become more illogical, more irrational, the more that you try to understand it, the more that you try to grasp it and hold it together. That's a simple fact, because if you did understand everything, then there'd be no
Austin,
experience.
this is easy. This is just way too easy for you to accept something was wrong, admit it.
No, I'm
Yeah,
trying to
move
do
on.
something right
It's
now.
way,
And that has to go
too
with
easy.
perspective. This has to do with perspective. It has to do with
This is an easy one, Austin. What do you do in our house? You're gonna burn it down. What is it? That's an easy question with
You know
an
what?
easy answer.
Obviously, I have a lot of things that I follow in regards to, like,
Easy question with easy answers. It's and you've already told me that you don't.
no, I have a very, honestly, stable platform of regulations that are my own, you know, internal intrinsic. They're my own internal intrinsic code that I follow.
Well,
All right.
we've got some code around here that has to be followed too. I've already told you some of the things that is required here. I bend a lot for you. I already bend 90% your way. All I'm doing is asking you to be 50-50.
I know, and I'm honestly asking you guys to just forgive me, okay, on this.
50-50, Austin. That's how it is. 50-50.
All right.
Period.
Well, I'm asking for you guys to forgive me on this. Is that doable? Because I've been to the place where I was trying to know and understand everything, and it's not a good place. It's definitely not a good place.
God's in the bathroom.
Because what would happen in that place is you'd have no experience because something that understood everything couldn't actually move through experience. Because everywhere that it went, it would already be there without ever actually moving anywhere, which means that it would cease to even move.
I heard you telling them something about your philosophy class is messing you up. How can you reverse that?
Well, in a lot of ways, it obviously kind of like is something that I use for self-defense because it's like a defense against time to a certain degree and age and responsibility because then you collapse everything into like a mathematical operation that then makes it so that you can actually accomplish it in a simpler manner rather than actually being held to the degree of the demands that are present because then no matter how complex it gets, it just follows like a simple parameter, right? But then what that does is that just leaves me here like a kid stuck in this place at the same point in time. So it's just my own Achilles heel, or you know what I mean? Like that's my Achilles.
Like you said, it's a self-defense.
That's my Achilles heel, or that's my double-edged sword, or whatever.
It doesn't work though, Austin.
Well, I mean, it works to a certain degree.
Fine, that's it. It doesn't work for anybody else. All it does is, like you say, is postpone and postpone.
Well, are you guys willing to forgive me tonight? And honestly, I can just please keep trying to like make a living without having to take two steps back, you know, in regards to
It's got to be a 50-50 also.
what does that mean?
That means there are some things that we try to understand you on, and there's some things that you need to understand us on.
All right, well, does that mean that I can go and throw that?
Some responsibilities around here that need to be shared.
Does that mean that I can go throw that paper away and not have to worry about in 5 days you trying to get a bunch of people to literally like take all my stuff out of the house? And then
You write down.
because I'm not going to be held to some ridiculous notions though that don't actually help me achieve my goals and my dreams.
You write well, and your way of accomplishing those haven't been working. So maybe you ought to let somebody else have some objective on how that can happen. You write down, we'll go this far tonight, and I'll say, you write down a half a dozen things that you hope I can understand and work better with you on, and I'll write down a half a dozen things that I think that you can work with and help me better on.
All right. Well, can we like do a word shake on that, and then can I go and throw away that paper so that I can sleep better tonight?
We can both do that, and before I go to work tomorrow, if you want, you and I will both review it. And if we feel like we're getting somewhere, both of us, then the paper can be gone away with.
Can you go and open up the safe so I can get my passport out of there?
Not tonight.
Not even my deck of playing cards, because I feel like they're
Austin,
what?
Austin, I don't wanna see you have to leave the house. That's not the point.
Yeah. Well, I'm having very difficult understanding what the point is.
No, the point is,
Like,
when there's something that we feels like is wrong, that we're starting to smell something. First, I told Mom, I says, there is something that smells hot. We've got something hot cooking, or we've got something burning. And then it started getting worse and worse and worse. And we came down
But you know what,
trying to
Austin?
find out what it was. We thought.
if I really was like Bam Margera, I'd still be filming this and come and jump up on your beds right now.
We didn't know what it was.
Choice to make.
All right, well, anyways, I kind of feel like you're in a reasonable state right now, you know, or whatever, and I honestly feel like I got the shorthand of the deal on this one because you went in my room and tore down my artwork.
If it was put up with some blue tape or something like that, it would come off without ruining the walls. And not only that, I'm trying to hear that, I'm trying to get this house aired out. I'm not sure what I need to do with that yet to get that done,
What?
to get the stink out of here.
I don't feel like I really have much more to say other than I just kind of wish that I could, you know, have some sort of talents or whatever, or something. It's just like I'm just kind of like cursed with a lot of thoughts all the time. You know, and I've done nothing but try and just kind of live up to standards, but I just kind of feel like that as soon as you're there, then it becomes like self-defeating in regards to actually achieving anything, because then you're just actually become like a slave to your achievements rather than actually being freed by achieving something. So then at that point in time, I just feel like I'd rather not have achieved anything, you know, or whatever. And so that's kind of the odds and ends of how it is that I feel. And you know, other than that, I have a pretty laid out way that I go about doing things in regards to my responsibilities and what it is that I do to treat things. So,
What I can tell, there's a lot of honesty and sequence of thoughts,
Yeah, but the problem that I have with doing stuff like that is that then I feel like if I am ever going to have a chance at actually living the life that I want to live and perhaps finding the love of my life, then I need to try and very carefully sidestep as much of that as I can.
That's a very flawed way to look at it.
Well, because then I feel like what it does is it detracts me from actually really being able to dedicate my time to something that I feel like I actually understand what's going on and what's happening, rather than just, you know, running around like a chicken with its head cut off.
If you put the time into something, like you have that, or whatever you think that you understand, you do start understanding it. That doesn't mean that is something that you're gonna be stuck doing your whole life. Sometimes we have to take steps and to help us get to where we want.
I'm not sure. Sometimes it feels like to me when I say, hey, would you like to go do this?
Do you guys care if I come up into your room?
I do feel like myself, and I think, okay, what is he thinking when he says, no, I don't want to go do that because then it takes away my freedoms or my ability to choose.
Well, it's not necessarily that. It uh it's a draining because all this stuff takes quite a bit to even get online or whatever and to go and to stream and do all that different stuff. That takes a lot of energy out of me to get to where I'm motivated enough to do that, to get to where, you know, I can be presentable when I go and do that, to get to where, um, you know, I feel like I'm on my game because it's competitive. It takes a lot out of me. And so if I dedicate all of my time to going and doing all that stuff, then I have when I get back to then where it is that I feel like I could do that stuff, it's already gone. That motivation, that energy, that presentability, it's already gone. You know, and so that's what I told mom is like, it's like the more that I just am like a little kid here and let everybody feed me and let everybody do all this stuff and take care of me, then the more that it's like just that much more difficult for me to try and like, because the more that it's like I get fed and I get all this other stuff, then I have to be a part of all that stuff more. I'm not that I don't like you guys or love you guys as my family, okay? But it's not like I wouldn't actually like to be out making a living for myself. All right? And so then the more and more that I just partake in all of that stuff, then it just makes it more and more difficult because then I do feel like I have to be more a part of all of that. But then I can be less a part of me actually going out and trying to do something. Who knows? Maybe that fits into my philosophy to just be here like a kid. I've been listening to Moby Dick, and he talks about the Orientals all the time. And actually, their gods are children. The gods of the Orientals. And see, that's what I say. But these are like well-known books and like well-known topics and stuff like that. When I'm listening to a book that's like elevated to the status of like, this is the greatest author of all time or something like that. And then I'm listening to this book and the guy in the book says the Orientals would have elevated Moby Dick to the status of a god because like their gods, he was a child. And you know, all this different stuff. And then so who knows, maybe what am I trying to do? I'm trying to go out and have a wife and all that stuff. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe what I've been trying to do is wrong. Maybe I should just sit here and try to be like a little kid for whatever until all of a sudden I just warp into existence again and whatever. I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? But that's the problem is like you know, it's like, well, the world puts these things up there and puts them out there and
You're making some good points, because you're
says stuff like that.
talking to Dad about
So
saying some things, writing some stuff down that is.
it's just tough for me because I would so like to just be in a different place. But
What are the? I mean, Austin, you've had some other opportunities, but those things. There's a reason those things.
so I said it just makes me just feel cursed though. Like I just am something that just exists that is existed to to be hated or something like that. Like I don't
We
know.
can't run from it though, son. We gotta figure out the remedies for each thing. And there
Like
are
why do I have
things-
all these thoughts all the time? And I'm like I feel like Solomon. Like you guys want to know who I really probably identify with more than anyone is like Solomon. If you read the book of Solomon, he goes in there and he's like, you guys always criticize me for the way that I speak. When it's like, what then thou, and then this, and then if that, where then if that, then this. You guys criticize me for speaking like that all the time. Well, if you read Solomon, when he lays out how to build his temple, he talks like that all the time.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
All right, well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel cursed. Because I'm sitting here talking like that, and I talk like that comfortably, and then I sit there and I have all these thoughts all the time, all this stuff about thought and speed and trying to like hold these angles and velocity and you know, when it's like I was just having a conversation with somebody. They were a designer, a home designer. And then literally all of a sudden I found myself in this place where I was looking at bodies as just this energy in motion, and then there was just these little energy traps, and then you had these parallel lines of allowance of thought, because literally that's all that the different angles within a space itself either allows for or negates is thought. And then you have different spaces it's themselves which then allow for certain thoughts or different thoughts. And then there's a way to design things in which you actually look at thought while the design is going on, or thought is only an afterthought. And then so I went in there, and then so all of a sudden I went in there and I wrote this whole code down. I shared it with Weston. And he just sent back to me, he's like, text. That's exactly what he sent back to me. It was the funniest thing ever. And I just sent back to him, I was like, certainly. You know what I mean? It's like there are people that, like, obviously I can, like, still communicate with. But all of a sudden, then there's people that it's like, if I act that way, then all of a sudden they're, like, trying to, like, kill me. And I still feel where I got shot up a while ago. Like, I was in the gym this morning lifting, and I was like, I know exactly where I got shot up. Like, right in my arm. Pretty bad.
Austin, we don't want you to go there again, but this is some.
I'm not trying to do anything. I just feel like I'm just cursed, man. Like, that's what I'm just telling you.
Discussion, but
Like, I just feel like I'm just a thing that just exists that's just, like, cursed. Or like a mistake. I just feel like I'm a mistake.
I promise you're not.
Because I've just been like told what it is I'm supposed to do, but then everything just contradicts itself in the end, and then it's just is like, but I feel like I'm coming to it from the end of the contradiction. And so then if I already see it from the point of the contradiction, then I'm coming around back to then where it's like, if we only work for drama, because drama is the representation of the future, but so if that's the case, then that means why don't I just be dramatic right now? Because then that means that I'm actually what it is that it's like we're already working for anyways.
So those are things that can be worked on. Those are things, the thoughts, all this stuff. A lot of people would be able to would be glad and delighted to be able to have more.
I guess it's just
thoughts.
bad because honestly, I feel like I could sit on a throne on the top of the world and just regulate everything.
Well, there are some people that wish they could be more.
You know what I mean? Like,
Give a provocative thought.
I do. I feel
better.
like that.
There's people that wish they could do that more. There's people that have thoughts going 100 miles an hour that drive them crazy. There's a lot of things. This stuff needs
Yeah.
to be
Well,
done
I'll be honest with
mediocrity.
you. I feel like I'm pretty good at handling it, but
Yeah, mediocrity. But tonight is a poor example of not handling it. Tonight is something that could have been
well, tonight
resolved.
obviously
It's
was not what I intended it for it to be.
you
Like,
could
but
have
the fact of the matter
mediocrity
is, but the fact of the matter is that it was just like there was too many coincidental things that occurred. It was like too many built up layers of coincidence that it then actually made me get to the point of where then it actually got to where I had no problem with being exaggerative with it because everything was so coincidental that the more and more coincidental everything actually gets, then what happens is the more and more of a lessening of reality that it gets. And so then, since that was actually the case in terms of the transcendence of events, it just led to this place where I just honestly had no reservation in regards to me actually kind of calling it out for what it was.
I know, but even still now,
So
it's hard to have these discussions about thought and my mind going 100 miles an hour and this and that and then
having to
just
do
the
it again.
simple thing about saying, hey, what's the smell? And
I know, but that's what I'm saying
yeah,
is that
it's just an
Yeah.
easy thing.
no, but
That's
my
an
defense is that
easy
it's
thing.
just it was so coincidental that it then verges on like the insanity of reality.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
That's what I'm
It's
saying
help
though.
your case any, Austin.
Austin. It's
Yeah, well,
still-
it does actually build up my case because if people are going to use logic and rationale to then judge me, then if they use enough logic and rationale to then judge the coincidental,
Doesn't have anything about judgment, Austin.
Listen.
It's about smell, stink. It's about our home. It's about safety. It's
yeah,
about
well, there were a
security.
bunch of other things that didn't happen that should have as well, which then means that it's just more coincidental. So then the more logic and rationale that people used that would have used to judge me, if they were to actually try and confine me by logic and rationale, then the terms of coincidence would actually conflict with their terms of logic and rationale against me also. It's the truth.
In your eye.
Just keep breathing. Nothing bad is ever going to happen. Because life is just pure love. And there's no way to exist beyond pure love. Anywhere you can go is pure love.
You okay, Bart?
I love you guys. You know,
Love you.
there's a lot of people that I've met in those places that I got sent to. There were a lot of people that I met that I love, and I still remember today. You know, and not, and it doesn't have to be confined to the bad places where I've met people that have been, you know, they wanted life to mean something so much that they become harmful themselves. There are a lot of light and airy aspects of people and places that I meet all of the time that to me mean quite a bit just by not trying to make life mean anything, you know? I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just trying to just find some way in between all of this so that I can obviously, you know, have
100%.
have as much of the words that are coming at me. I can try and live up to them as much as I can while at the same point in time not letting them weigh me down, you know? I'm not trying to hurt anybody or do anything.
100%. You're not trying to hurt anybody. 100%. No question about
So
that. You have a big heart. We know 100% you're not trying to harm. We know 100% you're not trying to upset us.
I really wasn't. I wasn't trying to
No,
upset
we know
anybody.
that. We know that. We know
None
you're
of
not
this
trying to
tonight
upset us by doing what you did.
had no way. I had not. This was not in any way the way that I thought that, you know,
Austin,
anything
we
was
all
gonna
have
happen.
Stuff. We all make mistakes.
So
We all wish there's things we wouldn't have done. Or we all have things that
I'm listening to you.
We know that you love us, and we know that you know that we love you. And if we didn't, this would all be very easy. It's just
You guys, you know what the worst part about this is you guys don't need someone to take me away. I just feel like I just want to walk up into the mountains and disappear all the time. And I do that all the time, actually. Sometimes I don't think I'm going to make it back. But I just feel like just going up and just walking away and just walking just straight up into the woods. And just... I've been up there pretty far a few times and didn't think I was going to make it back down.
I feel like that too. Most of us do.
Well, I feel pretty like I'm kind of up here with some pretty strong people right now. You know? I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys for how strong you guys are. Whoever else is up here in this room, you know? And you know, I don't know what else to do other than just keep just trying to just be a good person while trying to have somewhere that I'm going, while trying to live up to, you know, what it is that I think is a good place to go, which is the only thing that motivates anybody anyways. But then, you know, that's all just a grand illusion at a distance or something like that. And so then that makes me get upset about where it is that I'm at, and then I distance myself from where I'm at to try and get over there or whatever, you know, and then I don't know, but then it's just like, well, if that's a lie, then I could just cognitively, dude, I've done enough of that, man. I feel like my next stage in my metamorphosis or something like that just needs to go in a different direction.
This would be one of my half a dozen things that I write down. This would be one of my 6 items.
I worry.
No, let me finish.
Okay.
One of my 6 items would be for you to take charge on some items in this house. Whether it was cleaning up some certain things daily or weekly, or whether it be cooking 3 meals a week for us, for all of us. It would be you taking charge and you making ownership of your of what we've got going here, of this family. You deciding what things can I do in this house that makes me a leader and makes me proud of my leading our family in these specific things, whether it's cooking, whether it's taking out the garbage daily and cleaning some specific rooms daily for us, or whatever. I'd love to have some of your cooking a couple times a week.
Interesting
Help
things
on
that you're
a couple
saying.
things like that here in the house, if that's what you feel comfortable doing, is some things like that here in the house, then take charge in them and say,
Yeah.
hey, here's how can you guys do this with this? Can you guys help me achieve this? This is the way that I think this could be really good. And that way you make ownership of some things.
Well, and you have some goals and things that you're wanting to do. You need to be open to people helping you do some of those things. Getting ideas on how if it's YouTube or whatever, how can this be better so that you can do what you want to do?
Yeah, honestly, I should just probably stop the whole YouTube thing. I've never had anybody like anything on there except for like the only people that have ever like commented on there is Branson and like Cody and Weston. Just my family. It's like what the. All right, honestly, I should just stop. Like I should just stop doing that. Obviously, I'm not something that the world
Well,
enjoys.
I think it's actually quite a simple thing.
It's not.
I think there's, I think it's all in presentation. If not many of us have much time in a day to be able to sit and analyze and listen to much, so it's all a matter of editing. You watch a football game and it takes 3 hours and 45 minutes. They do highlights on Sports Center in about 15 seconds for the whole game, and they show all the highlights, and they keep peaked interest.
No, maybe I'm just trying to just live out of my live out of my league or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe I just need to recognize what my league is like. I was never like the.
Well, you have to do something
I was never like the
you're interested in. If you're
most
not
popular
interested in
guy in school or whatever. You know what I mean? So why would
You
I?
have a lot
Listen,
of
I'm just trying to just like come down to earth here. I was never like the most popular guy in school. Like, why would I think I'd be the most popular guy on the internet?
You know what though?
You know what I mean? Like, why would I hold myself to that standard?
You
If
were
I
liked.
wasn't even in school, why would I think that I would be on the internet?
But you know what? You were liked.
by
So,
everybody.
You,
So what does that
Uh,
mean?
you
Did
had
you
a
have
ton of
anybody that
friends.
it
didn't
was,
like you?
so what should I try and do? Should I try and downplay what you guys are saying now? See, that's how
No.
messed up I am.
You
I'd
were
be
very
like,
liked.
no, I
You
wasn't.
dated 20 more girls in school than I did.
Yeah, whatever, man.
No, that's true, Austin. It just is.
I'll be
That
straight with you.
doesn't really need to make you feel better, but here's the deal. You
I don't
went
know.
out and you went to the East Coast. And you
I have a
watched-
problem with dichotomous scenarios within life, anything that's represented by like opposites, because I feel like what that just represents is problems and solutions, but then the greatest problem is actually the greatest solution, but then it doesn't recognize any problem. And then so then you could just actually hold any dichotomous relationship within life to those standards, with that, which then just makes any form of anything that's like an opposing aspect to where then it just actually, if it's raised to the elevated status of where it then becomes kind of like the ultimate representation of it being either a problem or a solution, then it actually is in a sense kind of like its own end or whatever. So because then the greatest problem doesn't see any problems, but then that's actually what an answer is supposed to do, not see any problems. So then there you see that the greatest problem, if it doesn't see any problems, then itself is the greatest solution. So then that's where I have I guess that's why I'm kind of like, I feel like Like, why do I have like thoughts like that or whatever? But then I parallel that into like any dichotomous representation within existence, and then male and female would be within that representation, because it's a dichotomous relationship of opposing natures, just like a problem and a solution. See, why do I exist in this world when I'm told to like that's what I'm supposed to do and like live up for and stuff like that? But then I have that like in me.
Makes it pretty hard.
Yeah, I don't know what to do.
I think it's trying to do things in mediocrity.
It's like people always call me like gay or whatever, but it's like I just feel like I have, it's like maybe it's like, what do they say, like gay or straight? But it's like I'm so straight that I just like pierced through the other side and just became like a circle that way or something. You know what I mean? Like it's like I just like pierced right through everything, and then it's just like, wait a second, it is like a perfectly infinitely straight line is a circle or something like that. I don't know.
Well, all that stuff can be sorted out.
Yeah. Well,
But the stuff that gets made hard is when somebody just asks questions, hey, like, is there something burning? What is it? Can it be done away with?
I know.
And the answer's,
I honestly
so
just,
simple.
like I said, it was so coincidental that it got to the point where I felt like
But that's usually
was
what
pretty, I was
happens
pretty
also.
confident with being as flamboyant as I wanted because everything was so coincidental. And then it actually verges upon like the insanity of reality, where you're like, in those parts in the Bible where you like read about God's like talking to himself or whatever, like that's what it was like verging on. And so I was just like, whatever, if that's where we're at right now, then it means that it's like, if anybody actually uses like logic or rationale to then make any condemning notions, then it will actually defeat itself. So like, that's where I was when you guys walked in.
So how can
But
you not do that?
what?
How can you not do that again? Because it doesn't work for either one of us.
I just feel it. I just feel like I can exist
I'll
even
have calls and
now.
stuff that I'm gonna take care of in the morning. I'm not gonna go into work.
I just feel like I can't even
I'm
exist.
gonna stay here in the morning. And I think you and I ought to each take the time to write down and discuss 6 things each.
I'm regretting that already, man.
I mean, your mind's going 100 miles an hour and stuff, and I'm listening.
Yeah, it's going 100 miles an hour just out of pure self-defense,
That's
really.
Self-defense.
But I mean, I feel pretty calm now. I feel pretty like I'm gonna be all right, you know. Other than it's like I just feel a lessening, perhaps, of like potential, because I just kind of feel like then there's like a detraction of me being able to, you know, like
The only person that's gonna make it so you're.
I just know the standards that you guys have done before with trying to write things down on paper, and those were ridiculous. I felt like a child called it.
Well, I'm gonna
Is what I
make
felt
notes
like.
to myself, because that's the only way I can keep track of 5 or 6 things. I don't even have to give them to you. I don't even have to give them to you and say, I expect you to do these. It's more making a note to myself so I can just talk to you about them.
All right.
You
Well,
can make some stuff that you wanna talk to me about, or you can just have it in your mind, I don't care. I don't care if you have 6 things that you just wanna
Yeah.
think, here's what I'm gonna talk to Dad about. I'm gonna probably have to write down the things
and
that I have to talk to you about.
if you guys want, I mean, maybe I'll get a piece of paper out. We can go and we can get me a horse and a nice saddle and stuff like that. And like, I can see if I can't just make it out in the wilderness and, you know, I don't know, see if I can't do it, right?
Are you being serious? Why would you say something like that?
Oh, it kind of sounds fun, doesn't it? I know some people it sounds fun too. I was talking with Chuck about it. He said that sounds fun. So it's not like I'm like,
Chuck's having a hard enough time remembering where he lives at this point.
yeah, well, he's out there laughing with me. So I'm having a good time with Chuck. But I mean, I'm just saying, you know. Anyways,
We got a little problem even when we can't be square with each other, when we
What?
ask what stinks, and, you know. I guess we
Yeah,
don't need
that's-
to get back in that tonight, but.
yeah, I know. Honestly, like I said, I just think it's a matter of, it's kind of how I work. If everything's so coincidental like that, where other things should have happened as well, then what that means is that it's like there's uh, there's like a phasing through of where everything is then just
I don't believe it. I don't believe it was coincidental. I think it's all action and reaction. It was all reactionary. It was
no.
an
Well,
action
it's
that
not.
took place.
Yeah, it's
It was an action that took place.
well, it's not coincidental to a certain extent, but it is coincidental in regards to what people should be able to do in other regards as to what it is that people are held responsible for. So if there's some sort of like one of those like balancing things which like holds different weights of materials, right, in terms of what is worth more by its weight, you know, the one side drops or whatever, in regards to the amount of like what it is that people should know that is actually going on in a space, the amount of that weighed out against how much coincidence is involved. And I could write that down and do an operating equation. But what happened is there was an overabundance of what it is that people shouldn't have known, which then elevated the level of where coincidence
There's stuff I gotta get done in the morning early. I'm gonna have to get up. Good night, son.
Good night. Anyways, the coincidence involved is the fact that where it is that the actual incident took place was vacuum sealed and airtight. And the fact that there were entities that then came into the vicinity reveal the amount of coincidence then verging upon what it is that things either should or shouldn't know in regard. So then where the coincidence of occurrence then verges upon what it is that is holding something to accountability, then means that there is something which is greater at play than what it is that you are aware of, where then if that is the case, then that means that the thing that is greater at play actually, should it not be, in a sense, held responsible for, is it then not that it itself is actually in a greater awareness? What then means that anything that in that place that would then call attention to where something is then being held accountable for whatever it is that something is being held accountable for, the thing itself that then is in greater awareness is then in as much accountable as what it is that is being held accountable for, then it actually is too coincidental. And anyways, the flaw in this whole experience was the fact that the entire event was within a controlled environment, where the actual ability for anything to know what was actually going on would mean that they themselves were in a greater awareness or in a greater ability to perceive something going on, which then collapses them into the paradigm of then not being able to judge anything for anything that they would hold responsible for. Then they themselves are in a greater awareness. So then actually, as soon as that actually played out, I had a feeling of there being no reservation, like, for me, or I didn't have to hold back at all in terms of like, I guess, denial or anything like that, because what it actually shows is the fact that there is like so much coincidence that it then verged upon the place where it broke kind of the cardinal rules or whatever of being something that could, you know, hold anybody for anything, for any sort of like causality or anything like that. And it reminds me of this conversation that I was like having with my phone the other day. I mean, obviously I was like talking to somebody on my phone or whatever, right? But it's just like, well, if, in terms of all the interactions that I could be having, we have shared no information in regards to like any positionality of anything. If the ability for you to then actually be coincidentally like in a space itself, which just so happens to allow there to be an interaction, then it actually verges upon so much coincidence that like any form of it actually like being what would I call it? I know that I said it really well. When I said it. Wonder if I minimize out of this, what does it do? Does it keep live streaming? All right. Yo, is this thing live? Is it counting down? Oh, there it goes. How do I actually chat something? All right, yeah, so I found it. So if it was so coincidental, then what that means is that it verges upon the place where then there's nothing to hide that from, because then like everything is known, what means that then actually nothing can be held in consequence. All right, so then in terms of all of this happening, then what happens is if there's judgment by consequence, where people are held to a sense of responsibility for action, what then is judgment itself means that if nothing is private, then nothing can actually be held responsible for any action, because what that means is that there's no separation of identity. So then nothing can actually be held responsible for any action because of the overwhelming amount of coincidence actually involved in the scenario itself. Because then it derails notions of privacy, which then derail notions of individuality, which then themselves derail notions of anything, holding anything outside of themselves as anything other than themselves, which then derails the notion that anything can actually, I guess, be judged, because then, like, everything is at fault or whatever. Now, how can I actually put this in a way that kind of like contains it? I think that's really all that I'm looking for, is a way to like put this into something that actually like packages this up all nice and nice, like, you know what I mean? So then it's like I can just like leave it somewhere and then not feel like it's like something unfinished or something like that. So 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 so. How can I do this? 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 Well, this literally just made my YouTube channel like even more of like something that's like probably going to be buried deep down into the depths of YouTube. Because honestly, it just like derails all notions of what it is that would actually be like in the light of giving somebody like a way out of having a sense of like progression in the world, because all it does is just derails anybody's sense of authority or being able to like control or having like any form of structured regulation that gives them like status of being able to like have something to love, and then products of causality by just showing that even like external figures of authority, when taken to this extreme, no matter how distant kind of like the force is or whatever, which then kind of just like greatens it. The fact that actually that I got out of this literally just kind of like destroys this for everybody. Oh man. So what it is almost is that it's like the more predictable that things become, actually the more fake we think they are. Because then we don't think that there's something that actually has like any play to them at all. They're so predictable, right? And then so like with this tonight, what happens is the more real that everything tries to make it, by it actually being able to then take me to somewhere that would have real consequences, the fact that the predictability involved with it then actually makes it seem more fake, because then it has no play. Bam, gotcha. And the predictability has to do with the coincidence of there being things that are alerted in regards to awareness, where things are done in a situational environment that itself has been tested heavily and actually in terms of what it was that spoke up as to how it is that they came about in knowledge of, means that it falls under that categorization of predictability, which then leads to fakeness because there's no playability. But then the consequences of making something have real consequences then is weighed out against that predictability of it being set under operable mechanics. So that then actually the more predictable that the event actually became, by it actually having a flaw in terms of what it was that tried to make there have real consequences involved, it then collapses itself on the fact that where it was that came across the notions of where it could actually instigate real consequences is diminished, because where the event took place should have had no telltale signs of anything outside of that space being aware of what was going on within the space. All right, that's it. I just wrapped it up all nice and nice and neat. All right. Well, if anybody ever watches this, then you better pray that you were a fly on the wall during that whole thing, because I don't know who the fuck I am to be able to get through shit like that. Obviously fucking something. And fucking live to see another day some fucking how. Well, peace out, y'all.